Hello everyone and welcome back to Almost There, a twisted tale novel here on Disney Magic Zack. This is chapter 49. Let's get into it. The moment Tiana entered the room, she was suspended in the air, her arms flailing as her body spun in a dizzying circle. Facilier's laugh swirled around her. When she finally landed on solid ground, she found herself back in the heart of Lafayette Cemetery, where this had all started. It was an illusion. It had to be. "You're in my world now," Facilier said. "You should have taken the easy way out and signed the contract." "Taking the easy way out is what got me into this mess with you," she said. "And I gave you what you wanted. I gave you your father." "You didn't give me anything," she said. "It was your friends who did it. You don't have any power of your own." "Facilier, you're nothing without your friends from the other side." He shrugged his shoulders, as if she hadn't just ripped the veil off the fraud he'd been perpetuating all this time. "You're right," he said. "But without me, you wouldn't have access to my friends from the other side. So you're nothing without me, Tiana." He pointed to his chest. "I'm the reason you were able to open that restaurant with your daddy. I'm the reason that little prince of yours isn't hopping around the bayou. You wouldn't have any of those things you enjoyed this past year if I had not summoned my friends from the other side on your behalf. You owe me, and them." Her vision became hazy as her eyes fixed on its own catacomb just over the shadow man's shoulder. A montage of scenes played across it, images of her cooking side by side with her daddy at the supper club, of sitting at a restaurant watching Lewis and his band play rousing jazz music, of staring into Dean's beautiful eyes as they drifted down the bayou together. China shook her head. No, she wouldn't fall for his antics again. He had a way of twisting her words around, of making her believe what he wanted her to, but he no longer had the upper hand. Tiana had finally accepted that she didn't have to face her battles alone. After the pastor arrived at the house to sit with Mama, she returned to Rosalind's to apologise and tell her what had happened. Then together they had come up with a plan to beat Facilier at his own game. Tiana pressed her hand against the satchel, feeling for the vial tucked inside. For this to work, he had to buy her bluff. "If I want to make another deal with you, I would," Tiana started. "But I don't have to, because I have friends too. My friends can do everything your friends can do, and more." "That's not possible," Facilier said. She arched her eyebrow in cynical amusement, just as he had done to her so many times. "Oh, but it is," Tiana said. "And I have something you don't have. Something that will give you what you've been seeking all along. Power." She reached into her satchel and pulled out a large vial. "You must take me for a fool," Facilier said. "I'm the one who concocted that potion. I know exactly what it can do and what it can't." "Except this isn't the potion you concocted," Tiana lied. "I got this one from my new friend, a voodoo priestess in the quarter. She replaced the contents with something a little more helpful." His eyes narrowed. "You're talking about Rosalind," he said. "A thorn in my side ever since she came to this city. I thought I warned you to stay away from her. And I told you that I'm done living by your rules. I explained to Rosalind how you've been extorting me. She wasn't surprised by your dishonesty. I guess you have a reputation." Facilier's nostrils flared. "Now that Daddy has passed on, I've decided it's time I finally accept some help in getting the restaurant that I've always dreamt of," she shrugged, striving to keep her voice calm and relaxed. "As much as I love our little supper club in Treme, you know that I had my heart set on a gorgeous old sugar mill on the river." She held up the vial so the colour was slightly distorted. It looked more pink than purple. "And this will help me get it." "How's that?" Facilier asked. "Rosalie promised that if I drink this, it will give me the insight I need in order to convince the wealthiest people in town to invest in my restaurant. She assured me that her gifts matched those of your friends on the other side, because they come from a noble place, unlike yours." She could tell the words affected him by the expression that flashed across his face. Her heart raced within her chest as she considered her next move. She'd come to know Facilier well enough over the past year to anticipate what he would do. She peered at the vial. "All I have to do is drink it, and everything I've always wanted will be mine. However," she cocked her head to the side, "I'm willing to make a deal of my own." "What do you want?" Facilier asked. "You know more about how these things work than I do, but I was thinking that maybe if we split it, we can both get what we want." His eyes narrowed. "Why should I believe you? You have nothing to gain by giving me half of Rosalind's potion." "Well, like some people, I don't do things simply for my own gain," she shrugged again. "It's like you said. You gave me an entire year with my father that I would have never had. Maybe I am a fool, or maybe I'm too low for my own good, but it feels as if I do owe you for providing such a precious gift." "Yes, you do," Facilier said. He extended both hands, going for the vial. "Give it to me." "Not so fast." Tiana jerked it out of his reach. She had to make him think she believed he was still in control. If you want this, you have to reverse every awful thing you've set in motion over the last year. The fog, the green sludge, all of it. And you have to tell me where to find the missing people. Annie Mae, Georgia and Eugene, and Mr. Safaggio, and Mr. LeBouf. Fine, he hissed, his eyes never leaving the vial. They're all tied up in one of the back rooms. He snapped his fingers, and just like that they were back in his house. Damn him. She knew it had been an illusion. As for the fog, Facilier continued, well, that's up to my friends on the other side. The fog will lift when they get what they want. And what do they want? Tiana asked. Facilier stared at her with a piercing intense. No. Facilier stared at her with an intense, piercing look. Your soul. Tiana sucked in a swift, terrified breath, thrown off. My what? She whispered. Well, it doesn't have to be your soul, he quickly added. It can belong to anyone. My friends on the other side don't care. There are thousands of chumps around this city who no one would ever miss if they just disappeared. Like the people you kidnapped? Tiana wanted to rail to him, but she took her head to keep her cool. Oh no. But she shook her head to keep her cool. She had a part to play, and if she slipped up, Facilier would know that she was onto him. Are you sure about this? She asked, adding extra suspicion in her voice just to throw him off. Yes, he said impatiently, his eyes never leaving the vial. But you must sign your name to the contract, Facilier added. None of the horrors will end if you don't. What would they do with the soul once they have it? She asked. That's not my concern, and it shouldn't be yours, Facilier said. Are you ready, Tiana? One last deal. His willingness to sacrifice some innocent person's soul alleviated the last prickle of conscience she felt over what she was about to do. The snake in the grasses has everything that was coming to him. Okay, Tiana said. I'll sign it. She followed him to a wooden desk that held a lamp and grabbed hold of a fountain pen he held out to her. Tiana bent over the contract, turning her back slightly as she scribbled across the bottom of the scroll. Okay, it's done, she said. She turned and held the vial out to him. Now you drink your half, and I'll drink mine. His eyes were bright with triumph as he snatched the vial from her hand, wrenched the cork out of it, and gulped it down the entire contents. He threw his head back and let out a peal of laughter. His laughter quickly died as he clutched at his throat and staggered several steps back. Tiana held out the contract to him. The words, "Goodbye, Shadowman," scrawled on the signature line. His eyes grew wide with panic, and he began to gasp for air. He backed up against the wall and slumped to the floor, his face becoming mottled, bright red splotches appearing all over it. Tiana had to fight the inert urge to reach out and offer assistance. What could she do? This was his potion. She had no idea what was in it or how to mitigate its effects. She looked out in horror as Facilier's eyes glazed over. For a moment, Tiana thought he was dead, but then he began to mumble words she could just barely make out. Are you ready? He murmured, the words thick and slurred as they left his tongue. Are you ready, Tiana? I think that's a question for you to answer, Shadowman. As she stood over him, Tiana noticed her silhouette shrinking as the sun dipped below the horizon. The air turned ice cold. The sound of faint, indiscernible groans rumbled behind her, growing louder with each passing second. Fear and shock rooted Tiana's feet to the floor as a dark shadow slithered along the walls and floors. Her mouth hung open in dismay as the shadows wrapped themselves around Facilier's limp body and carried him out of the room.